Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 373. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much, man. We got an interview today with PJ Curling. We're going to talk about Taking Out the Dead #1.
Yes.
And it's another zombie book on Kickstarter, so we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
Love me some zombie books.
Yep. It's funny because I see it in the news a little further down there. I guess it's all a blur now, but I was in the West Coast this week, I don't know. And the awesome thing about the West Coast is they're a very large Asian population in manga stores. So like huge manga, like size of grocery stores, like half of it's Japanese, half of it's English, a lot of crazy stuff. And I get in there and I've been looking for the Elden Ring manga because I didn't even know that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
We might have talked about it, but I saw.
Yeah, we talked about it last week a little bit.
Yeah, Volume 3 came out, and everywhere I've been looking around, it's Volume 1 and 2 have been sold out. So I walk in this place and I'm like, "Hey, you guys got Volume 1 and 2?" They're like, "I don't think so, just Volume 3." And just happened to be that they had a Volume 1 and 2 in the back room, and I was like, "Well, hot damn!" So picked those up. Was really excited about that. And then my latest addition to the action figure collection showed up. This is my McFarlane Toys Booster Gold.
Oh, nice.
There he is. And this is Future's End Booster Gold, I believe, but he's got a really shiny, this is like really shiny dark blue and gold suit. So
I don't know, he looks nice and shiny. That's gonna be cool. Are you gonna leave him in the box? You're gonna
I leave him in the box, Chris, and then I like this little addition they do on the back now. It's like an art page. It's really cool. So yeah, it's funny because I'm not, and it has like a trading card in there with him and a stand, but a lot of those pre-orders for McFarlane Toys have been selling out. There's been a lot of cool ones that I've wanted. So I'm missing out, but the Booster Gold one I got immediately because I got an email about it, and I was like, oh yeah, definitely grabbing this one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, love me.
So Tuesday, I believe it was, Tuesday. New Star Wars show. Coming out Tuesday, right? We're going to talk about it a little more later. I'm going to tell a story here of why Disney can fuck themselves.
Oh, okay, good. This is what I want. This is what I want to talk about. Yeah.
So I get out of work Tuesday.
Normally
I go to the gym. I didn't go to the gym. I had a Zoom meeting with somebody. You all will see the benefits of that Zoom meeting in the future.
We're getting sponsored. Just kidding. No,
I wish. After that, so I didn't go to the gym. I skipped my gym that day, did that. And after that, I'm like, okay, I've got a 3-hour buffer, and then I have to do an interview, which is going to be released here in a few weeks, everybody, because we talk about things that aren't like out in the open yet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'll watch Star Wars in between.
Yeah. Of course.
Great, right?
Yeah, that works out.
It launches at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that day. So the release date they gave me was a lie. Disney, if you say it's out that day, that means it's out at midnight.
Yeah.
Not 9 p.m. This isn't fucking cable.
Right. Yeah, come on. That's not how it works.
So I was very angry because I had all this time in between. And you know what I did instead, Mike? I watched Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Nice. Do you mean 9 p.m. on West Coast?
No, it was East Coast.
Oh, it was East Coast 9 p.m.? So then on West Coast, it came out at midnight? Or no, it came out at 6 p.m. on the West Coast. Jeez.
6 p.m., yeah.
Yeah, that's a respectable time if you're on the West Coast. What the hell? Why do we always get screwed?
Why? So the East Coast is far superior to the West Coast.
Of course it is.
So why do we get fucked in every single way?
I know. Yeah, come on.
Like, dude, Sunday Night Football, I can't be up till midnight.
Yeah, what are you doing? Come on, guys. Think about us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's no way I would have watched it, but I would have been in bed shortly after that, you know?
Our entire West Coast audience hates me right now.
but Chris still watched them, right? So we're going to talk about it a little bit. So
yes,
don't worry.
We'll talk about it.
He still suffered through it, but fuck Disney is what we're saying. But still, we not that badly that they're going to come crashing down on us, but just a little bit. Yeah, that is upsetting. I'm probably going to wait till the whole season comes out before I do anything with it because that's just how I have to watch things now. But I can't keep up from week to week.
I so prefer the week to week.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
Movie news. More James Gunn Superman shit. The movie continues to add to its cast more and more. It's turning into a Super Friends movie. While the filming's already started, Beck Bennett has joined the cast. Will be playing the Daily Reporter staffer Steve Lombard. So, very titular character in the world.
Everybody's so excited.
Yeah, I couldn't wait for Steve Lombard. When they showed Daily Planet, I said, "Wow, I really hope that Steve he's really the glue to the inner workings of the planet."
I really hope that this movie's 3.5 hours and we get real in depth about the Daily fucking Planet
and how to report on. It's like an Aaron Sorkin film about reporting news about superheroes.
Listen, that Sorkin show about the news was a great show.
So good. So good.
But like my Superman movie that may or may not be having Brainiac in it. I don't care about the Daily Planet at this point. Just show the Daily Planet. Show him like flirting with Lois. Yep. Give Perry White a scene where he yells at people.
And he's smoking a cigar.
And then go right back to Superman flying and fighting things.
Yeah, that's all I need. No, you're only going to see Brainiac in a newspaper article, Chris.
I'm excited about this. All joking aside, like I think that it's just going to be like he'll have one scene, and that's why it's a late casting.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was such a weird thing to like be on every website. Like, look at this guy from this show that nobody cares about anymore, Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. He's been cast in Superman. I'm like, okay,
as a Daily Planet grunt.
Yeah, like as a guy who maybe will show up in the next movie. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. Very sad news. This is also news for me, though. I didn't know this about Greedo. Maria de Aragon passed away at the age of 82. She was an actor in many films in the 60s and 70s, and best well known for her portrayal of Greedo in Star Wars: A New Hope. So, very popular character within Star Wars. Very sad that she passed away at age 82. I feel like that's young for this day and age. But also immortalized within the character Greedo. Had no idea that she played Greedo. So that's news to me, Chris.
Yeah, I knew about her as a person and everything because I read too much about Star Wars.
You're in the thick of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I had to put this in my in the notes because my cat is named Greedo. So.
Oh yeah, it's a big part of your life. Yeah, that name itself.
It's funny that the yin and yang that we are, Mike, because I hear 82 and I'm like, yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. 82,
that's good.
I mean, we've had some people out here like 94, 95. I don't know.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong.
I'm under the impression there's a person in our generation that's going to live to be 150. It's not going to be me. But
it better not be me.
No. They'd be like, kill me, please.
Dude, I love my family so much, but I watched my grandmother go to 97.
Yeah,
and love my grandma to death. All that. I just looked at that every day and was like, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm. 82. I would say 82 is a solid number. I did say it's
a
young.
Good time. That's around when my grandfather went. He was still a little spry. He could still get around.
That's a good time. So
it's good.
Again, especially to be immortalized within a media such as Star Wars is crazy.
Yeah. So obviously, like a huge Star Wars fan. Love that character. I love when he shows up in like extended universe stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she kind of. Because that's she shows up in something again in the 90s, but that's really like the end of her career, really.
Yeah.
And what a way to like go in one of the biggest movies of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, the franchise of all time. And such a controversial scene. Everybody's like, who shot first?
Nobody's asking who shot first, Mike, because Han shot first.
Han shot first. He's the only one to shoot.
If you think otherwise, you are incorrect.
Listen, I'm not saying that I have that opinion, Chris. I'm just saying that Greedo's part of that conversation that I've heard so many times from so many people.
Listen, everybody. It's very important to Han's character that he shoots first.
And only is the one that shoots.
He's the lovable scoundrel who lives on the skirts of the law that you can't trust. So when he comes back later in the series and helps save the rebellion. That is called character growth, George Lucas. So you don't change that.
Yeah, you don't go back and on the guy who's a scoundrel, you know?
I can live with the Ewoks blinking.
Yep.
But Han shot first.
Yeah. I never noticed the Ewoks blink. Now I'm going to have to notice that.
Oh, they blink now. Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Thanks. Anyways, I guess we'll go on to TV now.
It's actually, just be real quick. If you go back and watch the original, which are on the shelf right here, if you ever want to, you just have to find a VHS player.
Yep.
It's kind of creepy that they don't blink in the original. Like now
maybe
that
it's just
point that
something
out,
your mind always
burned in your soul.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be looking at their eyes now and be like, are they blinking? Do they not blink? Fuck.
By the way, to all the haters out there, Ewoks rule.
Yeah, there's a lot of haters of the Ewoks. I don't mind Ewoks.
Love me some Ewoks.
Yeah. Delicious in Dungeon, episode 23, I did not watch, but hoping you did.
I did, and we get more of the backstory of the dwarf, Senji.
Yeah, I love Senji.
Yeah, so really great. There's like a weird moment where he thinks he's a cannibal.
Oh,
that was strange.
That's weird. Okay.
So we get why like he's afraid of that of the griffin, and it stems back to like, you remember at the end of the last episode they found the dungeon and everything.
Yeah,
and then they get stuck in there, and the griffin slowly kills his entire group.
Oh, well,
and he's like the last one.
That's a good reason to be scared.
So the griffin, so there's 3 guys left. The griffin kills one, and then the other guy comes in and claims that he killed the griffin, and then feeds Senji the griffin.
Oh,
and that's the moment where Senji is like haunted. He's like, "Did I eat dwarf?" Because he goes, "It was disgusting."
Yeah.
So anyway, so the flash forward to the group. The group has the griffin. So like, we'll try the griffin, and if it tastes the same, you know you're not a cannibal.
Of course.
They don't actually say these things, but you know what's going on, Mike.
Yeah, you know what's happening.
And he eats it, and he's like, "This is different. Holy shit, I'm a cannibal." And that's when they have this whole convoluted thing about these mushrooms that can change people into different things.
Yeah.
And that what he actually fought was a hippogriff.
Oh.
So they find the griffin, they change the griffin meat into hippogriff meat, and actually what he ate was hippogriff, so he's not a cannibal.
Oh, and the hippogriff was disgusting.
Yes.
Oh, well, now that clears everything up, Chris.
And then the group gets infected by the mushroom that changes them, and they all switch races. So now Senji is and they like, it's a really funny gag because they go out of their way to make sure you're aware that he becomes a beautiful elf. And the tall man, the lead guy, he becomes the dwarf. The halfling, I know they call him a half foot, but it's a halfling.
Yeah, he's a halfling.
He becomes a tall man. And then the elf becomes the halfling. And they have to continue forward like this. So this is like the new group. I'm sure it's not going to last forever, but like this is amazing. The new group.
I love that.
Oh, and the cat girl turns into a dog girl. Just because.
Just why not?
And hilarity ensues. So it's a really fun episode. We got hippogriff soup. We got griffin soup.
Nice.
And then they all switch bodies and they continue on through the dungeon.
One more episode to go.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Star Wars Acolyte, episode 1 and 2. So, aside from it coming out late at night, I think you watched both of them. I have not watched any of this yet. So, what are your thoughts on the first 2 episodes?
It's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it sets itself up to be a murder mystery, which immediately I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So spoilers, what's her face from Matrix?
Yeah, Trinity's in it.
And she's the one that gets killed in like the first 5 minutes.
Oh, you mean the one that they like put the trailers on?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
And then they immediately solve the murder within like a half an hour.
Oh.
So the whole season is based upon this murder mystery where this woman kills this Jedi, and now the Jedi have to find the murderer, they feel like it's this person that they used to train who left the Jedi. But shockingly, Mike, she's a twin. So it wasn't her, it was her twin the whole time.
Oh shit!
That was a really stupid twist, by the way.
Uh-huh.
And then it's just like trying to find the twin. And I thought like, so there's some kung fu scenes in there, which I'm really confused by because you have laser swords.
Right. Right. Why do you need the kung fu if you got laser swords? I don't. Although I do love kung fu. So
the young Jedi they have. So there's like an older Jedi, there's a younger Jedi, and then there's the apprentice Jedi, the really young Jedi, and then there's the same age as the younger Jedi girl who's the twin of the killer, who's not a Jedi anymore. That's the group you have, and the older guy, like he's interesting, and I like him, but he isn't a very good actor.
Oh, okay.
Like his character is kind of dull at points, and like he doesn't really emote that well. The younger Jedi is annoying as hell and has a stupid haircut.
Oh boy.
The little girl that's the apprentice was like interesting enough, but she was just like kind of there for certain moments. And then the woman they got to play, who's basically the lead character, the like twin, she has weird moments throughout the episodes. Like, listen, everybody, I know how like science works. There's this whole thing when like they're outside trying to fix a ship, and like something pops in the ship and a fire like happens. I get like you can't have fire in space. But like putting that aside, she just kind of like stares at this fire that's happening on the outside of the ship, and it's just like, oh, look at that, and then has a flashback
while the ship's on fire.
Put the fucking fire out.
Yeah, like come on, you don't even have a flashback right now.
And then like, I don't know, there's just, she's not super interesting. Like nobody here has grabbed me in a way that is just like, yeah, like I can really latch on to that character. And I think that's the main problem with the show. I like all the stuff back on Coruscant with the Jedi. Like that's interesting.
Right.
And I like the time frame. But just all in all, I think the show lacks a character, a lead character that you really care about. And that's why it gets just the okay. And then the Sith they show for 2 minutes was cool, but like, I don't know, show me more.
Right.
Like, please don't do this thing where it's we see him for 2 minutes every 4 episodes, and then we have a thing at the end where we're supposed to hate him, because that's not how. You can't just tell me he's a Sith and make me hate him. Like, you gotta show me.
Right. Yeah. Give more screen time to the bad guy.
That aside, the big stinger at the end of episode 2 was the fact. So the evil chick twin, her whole thing is, and they don't really explain why, but her whole thing is she has a list of Jedi she's trying to kill.
Okay.
And that's why like she kills the first one.
Interesting.
And one of the people on her list is a Wookiee Jedi. Who we're going to talk about later, because he has a comic coming up, a Cal Neca, who's been in some of the books and stuff. So that was interesting, because like I like Wookiees, I like Jedis.
Yeah, that's cool.
Why not a Wookiee
Jedi is interesting.
So there's things to like, and there's things that like, I mean, it's Star Wars, so I'll come back. Right. But if you're not a Star Wars fan, this isn't going to pull you in, at least so far. And if I was to introduce somebody to Star Wars, this is not where I would take them.
Right.
And I find that unfortunate, because I think the High Republic's a great place to introduce or reintroduce Star Wars fans, because the comics, books, all that, they're like free of all the bullshit of the original stuff,
all the continuity and stuff.
Yeah. So it's an unfortunate start. Like they stumbled out the gate, but we'll see where they go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Real quick to correct myself.
Uh-oh.
There can be fire in space.
Interesting.
Recent tests at the International Space Station have shown that fire in space can be less predictable and potentially more lethal than it is on Earth. So my point still stands. We'll put out the damn fire.
Yeah, just put it out.
There have been experience, and we have observed fires that we thought couldn't exist, but did. So,
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
Science changed, Mike.
Still, if there's a fire, put it out. That's the general rule of thumb.
I just want to correct myself because I started to feel like I was wrong when I said that.
Well, generally, if there's a vacuum and there's no oxygen, there shouldn't be a fire. So you're not wrong. But
that's what I was thinking. Like
scientists are like, oh, but it happens, so I guess the rule doesn't always apply.
Fucking science always changing shit.
Yeah. And
we should go back to us being the center of the universe and everything going around us.
The biggest fire, the biggest fire in space is the sun. So think about that one. You know? Wow.
Honestly, that never occurred to me before.
That's a whole other thing. We won't get into it. Comic book news. Marvel Comics announced that spinning out of the events of Blood Hunt, what more stuff? We'll be getting a second Avengers squad. The series called Avengers Assemble will be a 5-issue series from writer Steve Orlando, artist Corey Smith, inspired by the team he put together during Blood Hunt. Avengers Assemble sees Captain America take on a new initiative, recruiting new and classic Avengers for an all-new squad. Cap's team will operate out of the Avengers Mansion and tackle one crisis after another. The globetrotting superhero missions, expanding the scope of current Avengers storytelling. Avengers Assemble will offer readers modern take on classic Avengers adventure and drama. With a new threat every issue, these fast-paced adventures will be jam-packed action intermixed with exciting team bonding, thoughtful character development, interpersonal stakes. Wow, they really have to tell us everything that goes on.
Yep.
So these are like, to me, this is like a Saturday morning Avengers take on a new threat every issue. You know,
definitely.
What do you think?
You want to tell everybody who's reporting for duty?
Oh yeah, sorry, reporting for duty. I was just looking at the cover, but you have Wasp, Hawkeye, Clint Barton, Hawkeye, Hercules, She-Hulk, Photon, Night Thrasher, Lightning, Wonder Man, Shang-Chi, and Lightspeed, Julie Power. Very interesting ragtag team of Avengers here, Chris. I think the only one being Hawkeye and Cap are like originals.
One.
Maybe Wasp.
Well, yeah, originals. A lot of them have like I don't know about Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's a fairly newer addition. But...
And the whole thing about him was they didn't want him in the Avengers because he was head of the clan, and he's like kind of questionable where his loyalties lie, and interesting.
Yeah, but now that's racist, I guess. I don't know. I'm just joking.
I don't know where they ever left off. I don't think they ever finished that storyline of his dad was like an evil crime boss.
I got no clue. That makes perfect sense. Like, why would you? But then again, Clint was a criminal, and they let him in. So,
yeah. But like I just remember the last storyline I read with them because I was reading the Shang-Chi stuff was like Shang-Chi versus Cap and versus he was fighting the Avengers every other issue. So I don't know. Anyways,
this feels like Marvel team up.
Yeah,
to me, I don't know. I'll buy an Avengers book no matter what it's titled. So I'm in. I obviously want Steve to be the center of the Avengers. I think the Avengers. It's said that the Avengers need a Captain America, and I personally think the Avengers need a Steve Rogers Captain America.
Of course,
but that's my bias and my thoughts there. That said, I like Hercules. He doesn't show up nearly enough in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's
universe anymore.
Yeah,
and then Wonder Man's fun. He's interesting. It'll be funny if they give him the old suit where he looks like a Christmas tree.
I hope so.
Yeah, it's 5 issues. I mean, I'm not a big Steve Orlando guy, but I'll read anything Avengers, so I'm there.
Cool.
And for those that don't know, the current Avengers book is this. It's Steve running a ragtag group because the real Avengers are a part of Blood Hunt. So that's where the idea comes from, is maybe Steve gets this itch to be like, man, let's, why do we just need one Avengers and blah, blah, blah. And also I've always liked the idea of the Avengers Mansion, kind of like the Hall of Justice, but with a butler.
Or the X-Men Mansion.
Yeah.
Okay. This is pretty awesome. I can't wait for this. Dark Horse Comics announced.
You skipped over Star Wars.
Oh man, I wanted to get right to this. I'm sorry. Marvel announced a new Star Wars comic coming this fall called Star Wars: The Acolyte. Kelnaka, from writer Kevin Scott, artist Marika Cresta. The story will bridge the gap between the High Republic novels and the comics, to the Acolyte itself, the TV show. So that's a pretty cool cover. So like Chris talked about, this character popping up in the Acolyte. Now we're gonna get some stories about him. Well, like,
yeah, now it's just
why not just like show this in the show? Like, give a couple episodes to this guy because he looks fucking awesome.
If they were gonna do a High Republic show, like there's so many other cool. They could have just focused on like there's a Sith out there, or like done what the novels are doing and like give this like big bad that's going against the Republic or something. Yeah, I'm hoping that I'm assuming Kelnek is going to show up quite a bit in the next few episodes, and that's why they're spotlighting him more.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool concept and cool idea. It's just unfortunate that it seems like he's retired, and that's like how the show bases is that like the different Jedi she's hunting are in different planets because they're like not a part of the Republic anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder how much of like him as a Jedi we're really gonna get. That said, I'll read this because I like him and the books and everything. So
yeah, I think it's a cool character design. Now I can talk about the thing I want to talk about. Dark Horse Comics announced in partnership with IDW Publishing a new crossover comic series titled Masters of the Universe / Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Turtles of Grayskull. This looks awesome. The fucking hair on Mikey is amazing. This limited series was written by Tim Seeley, the art by Freddie Williams III. Very cool, very amazing art. When the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles came across Krang and Shredder making a deal with some otherworldly demon mage named Skeletor, things got hella weird and they ended up in Eternia. It turns out when you mix Ultron mutagen with demon magic, you get a nasty purple poison, and it's brought Eternia to the brink of chaos. So Leo, Raph, Donnie, and Mikey are teaming up with the Masters of the Universe to kick some blue bony butt. The only problem is He-Man is missing in action. Dude, I am so down for this. These are like one of those crossovers that pops up that I didn't know I wanted. That this is going to be awesome.
This one was funny. It was announced to me because I don't know if you've been paying attention when you go to your, Walmart or whatever, but the action figures for this exist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're out there.
Oh, shit.
And I've been seeing them, and I'm like, that's funny. Like, I wonder how that happened.
Yeah.
And of course, like this is comics 101.
Oh yeah.
You make an action figure, you got to have a comic about it.
Hell
like,
yeah.
That's where fucking He-Man comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
This is, like you said, this is the crossover I did not know I wanted.
Yeah.
And now I have to read it. So I'm really excited for it. And yeah, Mikey with the hair. He-Man hair is phenomenal.
And like you got is it Donatello who's he's got like a mage staff. I fucking love it.
It's everything there is great. Like they all have the kind of He-Man armor mixed in with the turtle garb. It's
awesome.
It's gonna be great. I've never been a big fan of Freddie Williams' art though. So
the cover's really good.
Yeah, I think I read he did the Masters of the Universe Injustice Gods Among Us crossover.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was not a big fan. So we'll see. I mean, people grow. Maybe that was a bad comic. I don't know. But I'm still in on this. And I like that Tim Seeley's writing it. Tim Seeley's been on He-Man stuff forever now. So
yeah, he's got a lot of experience in that universe. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Turtles of Grayskull is just a great title.
It's such a great title, man.
Yeah. I'm going to be checking this out. More news from Mad Cave. Mad Cave Comics.
You keep skipping over shit, man.
Did I? Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry. IDW again. I saw IDW. I'm sorry. I'm all messed up. Announced a new series called The Exorcism at 1600 pen from writer Hannah Rose May and artist Vanessa Del Rey. Interesting, very interesting cover. That's really creepy. Kelly Doyle has been elected as first woman president of the United States at a time when political and international tension is all-time high and could spill at any moment, as the news president works tirelessly to avoid World War III while also balancing being a mother to 2 teenagers and navigating a rapidly changing media landscape. Little does she know that the nation's hallowed halls will also become the ultimate demonic battleground for good versus evil. That's another really creepy cover. I don't like a lot of this hits a little too close to home, but throwing the exorcism and demons in there might be a little interesting. I don't know how I feel about this comic.
I was gonna say
yeah.
I don't see where the fantasy is in any of
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, this might be going on today, Chris. Also, IDW publishing a book like this does not seem like an IDW book, right?
It does not.
This is very strange.
This feels like a Boom or an Oni Press book.
Yeah.
So I'm very interested on it. I will 100% be checking it out though. Like,
Yeah,
I love political intrigue stuff, and to add demons into it, like, let's go.
It is kind of interesting, and to be like at 1600 pen, I'm like, what is that? Oh yeah, that's the address of the White
Yeah.
Yeah. Shocking that I might have to check it out too, just because of how shocking of a story I think this is gonna be.
Yeah.
Hella controversial. I have to imagine IDW's. There's going to be some articles about this book. For sure.
Yeah, depending on what they do with it. I mean,
yeah,
I could see it treading on thin ice, but it could go either way. It could be a really great book that like stays in that political realm, because obviously it takes place at the White House. Like, there's going to be politics involved in the book, but like, does it intelligently enough that it's still a great book? Or it could be just shock value to get headlines, and we'll find out what it is. But I'm at least interested in it. It's a cool premise, if nothing else.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's the covers are cool though, for sure.
Yeah.
Mad Cave has announced a new edition of their Flash Gordon line with Defenders of Earth, an 8-issue series. The series will be written by Dan Didio, with art by Jim Calaforis. Flash Gordon, the Phantom, Mandrake the Magician, and Lothar are united again in this reimagining of the classic animated series, Defenders of the Earth. Picking up characters and storylines from the original series, Flash confronts Ming in a final battle, only to find even greater threats await him and his teammates, as they each must confront ghosts of their past to protect their families and future. I love the Phantom. That movie, like,
oh really?
That live action movie ruled my childhood. Hands down. That was like my favorite superhero film of all time.
This I did not know about you.
Did you ever watch the Phantom movie?
I've never watched it, no.
Oh, dude, it's so good. I don't know if it's good, actually. Don't quote me on that, but I might have watched it 100 times as a child. It was along the lines of like Indiana Jones, of like that type of adventure movie. I would recommend you check it out. But wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. This is cool.
Mad Cave, like, they've been doing so much good stuff that I'm gonna check out their Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think this should have waited. They should have shelved this for a little bit to see if like people are interested in Flash Gordon. I mean, that said, we'll get review copies most likely, so like I'm sure I can at least check it out safely and let you all know. But I have zero connection to any of this, so I really have nothing other than say it's really interesting that Dan Didio is writing it.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. That's probably the most interesting thing coming out of this.
Like, this is the dude that helmed the New 52 alongside Jim Lee. Like,
yeah, it's crazy that they got him to write this. That's for sure. So, not even the main book, the team up book, the side book.
I gotta think he's like a huge fan.
Oh, he has to be, yeah.
Because like the dude has enough money, he doesn't have to do anything. Yeah. So whenever his name pops up, he's one of those guys that like he's made enough money in the industry that when his name pops up, I'm like, okay, like if nothing else, he's doing it because he cares.
Yeah.
So,
right. I mean, you guys like Mike Oming, who only go with publishers because they like look at what they're doing and say, oh, okay, this is what I want to be part of. So, just another testament to all the cool stuff Mad Cave's doing.
Yeah, good on Mad Cave. Yeah, we'll see how their Flash Gordon line does. I'm interested to check it out when it starts up.
Yeah,
soon, I think.
Soon. Yep. This is more news for me. Yen Press announced that new Dark Souls manga is coming to the United States called Dark Souls Redemption. It's written by Julian Blondell with art by Shonen. Oh my god, that's an amazing cover. Doomed by a past long forgotten resolve to save what she once held dear, the flame is lit. A nameless woman wakes, roused from the tomb by a past she cannot recall. She sets out in a barren, unfamiliar landscape. The protector follows, bound by the oath and honor. He safeguards her against the dangers that draw near with the same ferocity he does the secrets of his past. The gray cinders gather in their tower, called by the fire to complete their solemn duty. A colossus incarnate of death stirs and bones beneath the scarred grounds. And a nightmare scourge of a bygone era returns to exact its toll. The fate of this land hangs in the balance as their journey unfolds in the original Dark Souls story. In Dark Souls fashion, I have no fucking clue what any of that meant or wherever that's going to go, but I'm going to read the shit out of this. And that artwork is amazing. I have to think that we're seeing Grave Lord Nito, I believe is the boss that we're seeing on that cover there. So that's really cool.
Dark Souls has always had really great designs, but
yeah, I think a manga is great. I mean, I have the Elden Ring manga over there. I haven't opened them yet because I'm a speculator, but I am going to be reading them at some point. I'm definitely checking this out. I've been buying a lot more manga lately, and anything Dark Souls related, I immediately pick up.
So. Yeah, it's all I was going to say was they have really great designs, and that's a cool design, but there's a 0.0% chance that I will read this.
It's all right.
I'm not into that world, so it's not for me.
I'll eat it up.
I was excited for you when I saw the announcement, though.
Yeah, thanks. That and He-Man, 1 week, perfect.
Yeah, I kept skipping over all the news to get to the good stuff.
I know. I was like, I was like so excited to talk about Dark Souls. But all right, we're good. Let's talk about what we read this week, Chris.
I read a lot.
Yeah, I had a lot of stuff I was catching up on, but what I did get to, okay. So first off, I had to read Space Ghost 2. Papose, Lau on the art. Another great issue of Space Ghost. We get him and the kids fighting off this energy monster, and that kind of like shoehorns them into becoming his sidekicks for the foreseeable future. We also see a little bit of Space Ghost origin with like his family dying, right? Which is tragic, but overall solid issue. This book's been really good.
Yeah, and I don't know about you read it digitally, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the physical version gives you a sneak peek of the Johnny Quest comic that is currently in previews.
Yeah, that was I'm just not a Johnny Quest fan. I didn't read it.
Oh, see, I love Johnny Quest. So yeah, I am on board for fucking Johnny Quest.
Okay. Yeah, I was just never a fan of Johnny Quest, so that's awesome.
Johnny Quest is like a here and there. Like I'm not gonna say I'm a big fan. I'm like, I like Johnny Quest, but you got to do it right. And it feels like Dynamite is really like putting in the work to their Hanna-Barbera stuff to be like, we need to do these right.
Yep.
And those preview pages look great. So I am all on board for that.
Nice. Yeah, really loving the series though. Papose's killing it. Batman 148. So a lot of like Batman being Batman in this issue, I guess. Nice.
Batman versus Batman.
Batman versus Batman. He defeats Failsafe by pretending to kill Jason Todd. Everybody, we pretend to kill him. How do we pretend to kill him? Well, we put a suit with all these micro doses of. It's the most comic book science shit. It's micro doses of the Lazarus serum, and so like it doses him after he dies, I guess, but he comes back instantly. So they fooled Failsafe into thinking they killed him, which like broke his brain. Really crazy way to do it, which was awesome. And there was something going on in the issue where Failsafe was like fixing, quote unquote, the criminals, like putting them in this machine. But we never really saw the outcome of that, right? Unless I missed something there, but maybe we'll see that in the future, what happens to them. Like maybe that's going to be some repercussions moving forward. I think
they were testing it on Riddler, so I don't know if they got to do it with the other ones.
So I don't know. We didn't see much happen with the Riddler though, right? Like,
yeah, I think they'll pop up more because it's really the one dude from Batman's past that was doing the experiments for Failsafe.
Yeah,
or Zur-En-Arrh.
If that sets up like Riddler to be the next main villain, the next storyline, I'll be totally down for that.
I like how they defeat Zur-En-Arrh though. Like,
yeah.
So Zur-En-Arrh kills Jason, which
And it's
sets
like,
off the
no.
fail-safe program to then destroy himself. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's such a Batman fucking
Yeah,
thing.
I can't kill people. I'm Batman. Yeah.
The only thing I thought that was funny was when they told the whole microdose thing.
Yeah.
I just went back to Task Force Z,
Uh-huh.
where Jason was in charge of a zombie Suicide Squad, in
Yeah,
which they literally microdosed them to keep them just enough alive to be zombies.
yeah, they give him the pills of Lazarus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, all that aside, it's such a good episode or issue. I've said it on another video, but like, just stick to this. Like, stick to this. Don't do the offshoot shit.
Right.
Because when they're doing this, it's my
Yeah.
favorite book.
Yeah,
every
it's
week.
awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Shazam 12. You read this already, Campbell and Lupacini. Man, really, really mess story for me. Nothing crazy happening. That's all I really have to say about this issue.
It's losing the fun.
Yeah, there's no more fun. It's like, oh, Shazam's tainted, and I just don't care, man. Just where's the creeper? Bring the creeper back. Bring the dinosaur. Where the dinosaur wasn't even the issue. Yeah, it's taking itself too seriously now, and there's just so much real world shit going on. I just don't care. I just want a Shazam book to be fun.
I get that like creators want to tell a story, but like
Yeah.
the book was set up as this fun thing.
Yeah.
And like we had a dinosaur auditor, and I was 2 issues with no dinosaur auditor. Yeah, it's a whole story about existential crises, like, and I got enough of my own. Like, I don't need it in a comic.
Right. I don't need this. I don't need this in my Shazam comic, man. Come on.
It's unfortunate. I had high hopes when Campbell took over.
Yeah,
because I thought she did good in the first couple issues she did.
Yep.
But these past 2 have been rough. Like, they're not bad. It's just not what I want.
Not Shazam.
It's not the Shazam that Mark Waid set up.
I put like a hard like road like speed bump in the story.
Yeah, and it was what makes Shazam great to me is that Shazam's always a little bit fun. Like, it's always a little bit out there and and somewhat. And in a world of like we talk about all the time, but in a world of like every other DC book, with the exception of maybe Superman, is like dark and gritty. Just let Shazam be fun. Right. So yeah, we're going in circles here, but yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm gonna keep reading it, but it's just those first 8 or so issues were so good, man.
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah, I know. Godzilla, Mecha Godzilla special. Rich Dueck writing it with Andrew Griffith on the art. This is a great issue. If you're like interested in the origin or like old school stories about Mecha Godzilla, I thought it was a great issue. We get a new design, talk about the new design of Mecha Godzilla with a fight at the end and like the history of like where, the doctor that built it, why he built it, and his whole role with everything. It was a great issue.
What origin did they go with?
They went with the old school Toho movie, like the doctor, I can't think of his name, built it.
Yeah, but there's 2 versions of it in Toho.
Yeah, is
it the Americans?
No, it's the Japanese doctor. Yeah.
I like the Americans.
See, I don't even consider that origin. I just the one I like for me, it's the Japanese built it. Like the Japanese doctor built it. And they think he has like this special connection to it. Or there's also the one where it's like he comes from space, but like I think he gets the tech from space and then he develops it that way or something like that was the origin in Japan.
Yeah, how they combined it.
Yeah, so that's the one I like. But no,
I like the goofy one, which is the Americans send a mechanized Godzilla back in time to destroy Tokyo.
Yeah, that's the fucked up version.
Yeah, and it's hilarious, and I love it.
Yeah, but so that's what they focus on the doctor, and it's really cool. I love these Godzilla books from IDW. I think they do a great job. And then I had Wrong Earth, Dead Ringers #2, caught up on that. A lot of things happening within the Wrong Earth universe. If you haven't read the other stories, this one really won't mean nothing to you. Lady Dragonfly has been like in a mental institution telling people that she's a Lady Dragonfly superhero from another universe. Obviously, they think she's crazy, so she breaks out. The nice dragonfly, I'll say that Alpha Dragonfly, is trying to help the city as Richard Fame, his like Bruce Wayne alter ego, while his counterpart, the Dark Knight Dragonfly man, is drinking in bars like all day and just like doesn't see a point in doing anything, while the copycat villain is on the loose. He's like copying himself as other villains, trying to like piece this dimensional mirror together and causing all this ruckus. So at some point they're going to have to team up again to defeat this villain, I think. So, you know, Wrong Earth's great. There's a lot of alliteration, a lot of wonky shit going on. I'll read this book as long as it's out. I mean, if you've been a fan of it before, this is another great story from Ahoy.
I gotta catch up with that series.
That's all I got to this week. Just some crazy shit going on. So I tried to read as much as I could, but I got another list for next week for sure.
All right, Mike, strap in.
Strapping in.
So I read, here's my digital stuff. I read Scarlett #1, which is the new G.I. Joe book. And they know exactly how to pull me in, Mike.
Oh, shit.
This is think of female James Bond.
Okay, you're sold.
So she's like secret agent. She's going undercover, except instead of like James Bond being suave and like using his good looks and his masculinity to get through, she does the opposite, which is to use her femininity and her strong like fighting style to get through and stuff.
That's awesome.
She gets recruited to do the special mission, and then this will show you how much of a G.I. Joe fan I am. But what's the ninja that's in all white?
There's Snake Eyes, and there's
what's the other one?
Oh man, I can't think of it right now.
But he shows up at the end.
Okay, that's cool.
And like that's gonna be kind of who she's fighting in this one.
That's awesome.
But it's a really great issue. Once again, much like Duke, you don't have to be a G.I. Joe fan to really appreciate the issue. If you like spy stuff, I think you'll enjoy it. Deadweights #3 from Ahoy. This is another book, kind of like we're talking about Shazam. Like, started off really fun, kind of losing the fun here.
Yeah, when they get trapped by that one guy at the end of the last issue, I was kind of like,
And then this issue is just them escaping, and like there's a fun like gag in it, but Payer's always told us that one of the things about Ahoy books is they need to be funny.
Yeah.
Not seeing the funny here. So hopefully they get back to it because I like the premise. But outside the first issue, I think it's been just okay. And the first issue had so much promise.
Oh, yeah.
I went on a Venom tear. Okay. So I finished Venom Lethal Protector 2, 1-5, which was the series from last year. And essentially, Mike, if you ever want to see Eddie Brock fight Dr. Doom with a Venom symbiote, this is the book for you. Because that's basically what happens in this book. Like, Venom teams up with Silver Sable. They're fighting this organization. It leads them to Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom's trying to find basically the cure to life because he wants to be immortal. You know, typical Dr. Doom stuff.
Oh, of course.
And he thinks Venom is what's going to get him there. And then he turns into a Venom version of Dr. Doom.
Nice.
And then that leads into the one from like 3 or 4 weeks ago, which is Venom Separation Anxiety #1. And that is more Venom like as a villain almost, because this seems like before the Lethal Protector stuff, because he's really focused on like, I need to take out, like Venom wants to kill Spider-Man. Brock wants to take out Peter Parker. They don't know they're the same person. And along that way, like they run into this organization that has captured the Purple Man and has found a way to neutralize his powers.
Interesting.
And so there's a battle there. Both really like enjoyable series if you like Venom, especially the classic 90s Venom stuff. But it's more like for existing fans. I don't think it's going to bring new people in.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I still consider myself like a new fan.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I got into it during Donny Cates' run.
Right.
And I just went back and like went on a tear. I finally read Sex Criminals Volume 1,
Mm.
which is the Chip Zdarsky drawn book written by Matt Fraction.
Yep.
And I enjoyed it enough where I'll continue with it, but it is kind of a not safe for work book. Like, it's a lot of sexy time. Because the basic premise is these two people have figured out that when they orgasm, they can stop time.
Right.
And then they find each other. So when they have sex, they stop time.
Yep.
And then they become criminals. It's in the title.
The title.
But you find out, like, there's this whole, like, they're not the only ones. So there's other people out there. And, like, some of them have formed this, like, weird superhero team that fights crime of people having sex and stopping time. It gets really weird at the end, and that was enough for me to be like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Right. Yep.
But the first couple issues, if you're not into like the sex books or not safe for work books, however you want to put them, can be rough because it's a lot of just like going over what's going on, which could have been simplified with one sentence. When I come, time stops.
Yeah.
We had to have a whole issue about it.
Oh, sex sells, dude. Come on.
I know.
Yep.
But I'm just not, we're not in that world. So
I know.
It's not something I enjoy.
I read the first couple issues a long time ago, and it just wasn't for me.
See, once you get past those first couple, that's when I think the weird stuff shows up, and it kind of hooked me a little
interesting.
bit.
Okay,
yeah,
maybe I'll try it again.
Because, like I said, the problem with the first 2 or 3 is they got to tell the girl's origin the first, the guy's origin the second, and then their origin in the third. And then they get into like, what if we commit crimes with this? And then, so it takes a minute to get through it. Out today, as you're all listening to this, is Dick Tracy #2, and it's really good.
Nice.
Also out today is Godzilla Skate or Die #1, and I had to read it because it's a skateboarding comic.
Hell yeah.
These kids in Australia have this skate park that they built. And it's all about like them and like being skate punks and everything. You know, me when I was 18, basically.
Yep. Same.
And you have a kaiju on one side of Australia coming in and destroying everything. And then you have Godzilla on the other side coming in, destroying everything. And the whole premise of the book is that they realize, oh shit, they're going to meet right at our skate park and destroy it. So we have to stop them.
Oh man, I love it.
It's goofy and awesome. And it's like, there's a lot of skateboard culture and punk rock stuff. So it's obviously something I love.
That's amazing.
All right. Wrap it up with the books I read physically. The Ultimates #1 came out, Mike.
Nice.
First half of the book is them going over like how they got all the heroes their powers back, essentially.
Okay.
Completely forgot until I read this comic that in this new universe, so we have the Maker, who's like the big bad of the universe, right?
Yeah.
The Dr. Doom is Reed Richards.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
So there's no Fantastic Four, but we get that setup of like how they get all the heroes their powers and everything. And then we get the fact that they have X amount of time to figure out how they're going to take out the Maker, because the Maker has sealed himself in his city for 2 years. So they have 2 years to like figure shit out. And then they go out, and when their initial plan fails, because the only people that really take it are Spider-Man and a few others, they go out and try again. And the first people they come across are Hank Pym and his wife, Janet Van Dyne. And they basically recruit Ant-Man and the Wasp. So it was a really fun issue. Thor's in it. Cap gets unfrozen in it.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. So I enjoyed it. I Hate Fairyland #15 came out.
Okay.
And I know I've been a little down on this book recently, but this issue was really good.
Cool.
Because there's these like evil goblin Gertrudes running around, and they're destroying Fairyland. So they figure out that if they turn Gert into a giant kaiju Gert, and that's the thing you see right here.
Amazing. That
she can go around and destroy them all. So like half the book is them figuring that out. Half of it is just page after page of a giant kaiju Gert killing these goblin Gerts.
I love it.
And then they tell her at the end, like, yeah, we figured out how to turn you into kaiju, but like we didn't really figure out how to turn you back into a little girl. So I think we're gonna have her as a kaiju for at least another issue, which that's awesome. And then a couple books from friends of the show. starting with Travis Gibb, Coins of Judas.
Nice.
The Gambler, #1. So I have a lot of biases here. So everybody take that into account. I'm really mad at Band of Bards that they kicked off the original artist because this new artist isn't as good. I'll just say that right off the bat. That being said, the story is pretty good. It dives deeper into where the coins came from, who has them now, and kind of what happens if you do collect them all. So, and there's a lot of good action sequences throughout it. So
It's cool.
A decent book. I wish that Tyler was able to stay on and there wasn't a stupid internet controversy that Band of Bards fell into. And then the last thing is a Kickstarter book from our friend Frank Martin.
Nice.
Which is our hero Phenom.
Love it.
So this is a superhero book. Basically think Superman meets Martian the Manhunter.
Okay.
So it's a Superman character who can like shapeshift. And he's the only hero in all the galaxy. So he goes from planet to planet, shapeshifting to look like them and save them. But then like one of the planets realizes what happens and they realize it after like everything is devastated. And they blame him for it. And that's kind of where the story goes from there. So it was a really cool issue. It was a really cool idea. One-shot comic. A lot of fun.
That's cool.
Mike, that was everything I had this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me at Fortress Chris on Twitter or any other social media network out there. And also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And if you want to find the show, it's FortressComics _ on Twitter, also FortressComicNews.com. And if you want to support the show, 5-star reviews on podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version of this, and patreon.com/FortressComics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see y'all here next week.